I'm going to call the July 14th Board of Directors meeting for South Granville Water and Sewer to order. I want to thank everybody for coming. And Mr. Schroyer, will you be our acting secretary tonight and give us a roll call?
I will be. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So roll call. Granville County Commissioner Russ May. Here. Granville County Commissioner Jimmy Gooch. Here. Mayor Pro Tem City of Creedmoor Commissioner Archer Wilkins. Present. Butner Councilperson Vicki Daniels. Here. Butner Councilperson Thomas Lane. Here. And Vice Chair City of Creedmoor Representative Georgiana Kaczynski. Here. Please note that Town of STEM Kenneth McLam Chair has indicated his absence will not be here this evening. Okay. Number 4, thank you.
Thank you. And now we will have our invocation by Commissioner Jimmy Gooch.
If you will, bow your heads for me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you, thanking you for all the many blessings you've given us over the years and over the days and weeks. We thank you for the rain you've blessed us with. We thank you for all those gathered here tonight. And we ask your blessing on each and every one of us here. And I'd like to ask a special blessing on Jim Wren and his mother due to her illness, and we pray that your hand will be with the family in days to come and weeks to come. All this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Has anybody got a conflict of interest for tonight's meeting on anything on the agenda? No. All right. Going forward, any adjustments or changes to the meeting agenda for tonight? Anybody want to add, delete? No, we're good.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as posted. Second.
All right, we've got a properly motioned approval of the agenda and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right. So you've had a chance to review and approve the June 9th meeting minutes. Anybody have any changes to the minutes of the June 9th meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. Second. Properly motioned and second. All those in favor of approving the June 9th meeting minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. We have Mr. Ed Gleason for public comment.
Let me use 3 minutes.
Mr. Gleason, you can have a full 3 minutes.
My name is Ed Gleason. I live at 1973 Bowles Avenue in Creedmoor, North Carolina. I'm happy to be here tonight, and I will not take anywhere near my 3 minutes. I just wanted to not reiterate, but tear apart the Bugs Bunny and Friends cartoon show that was put in the paper and in local social medias. The fact that because Creedmoor had done a survey, that Mr. Mayo found that according to Creedmoor's survey, and this is a quote, 5,700 customers of SGWASA have complained about the water and wanted water filters. We actually had a survey sent to 1,700 people, of which 200 people actually applied or replied to the survey. So that 1,400 people, almost 1,500 people didn't reply. So my assumption is that if 1,500 people were given the opportunity in writing to complain about their water and ask for a free filter, they would have done so. So my figures take Mr. Mayo's 85% and turn it back to about 10% of the people that took the survey in Creedmoor. And of those people, which is hard to believe, almost 50 of them, again, reported their income and are in the top 1% of family wage earners in Creedmoor. So, again, I just want to really make it clear in a public setting, the truth. And the truth is that 5,700 customers did not say that their water was a problem. So just so that it's in the record, that the survey showed that only about 200 people actually said that they would want to filter. The others said they didn't want to filter. And that the report shows that what you guys get from the public on the website, where people can actually complain to the provider, show what really is truly going on. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gleason. There's nobody else signed up for public comment, but does anybody else want to speak? All right, board discussion items. We don't have any. One person. Sorry, she raised her hand. Yeah, one person.
Dangerous president, you said.
I know. It's all right. Please state your name and address.
I'm Diane Johnson. I live in 312 8th Street. I'm disappointed, disheartened with just how things are going with this project. Our street has been torn up since December. It is depressing. You have mostly seniors living on that street. The vacant lot to me next door. Normally, my neighbor and I cut the grass. We're not able to do that because of stones or whatever that are lost. So it looks like a jungle out there. If you go to the end of the street, there are great big stone pipes or whatever that are a hazard to your visibility in pulling out on the C Street side. When I was here the last time, I mentioned the fact that if I wanted to sell my house, which is something I'm planning on doing, how much longer is this project going to take? My life is being put on hold with no answers. The last time I was here, my question was, how much longer, how long is the project going to take? Who starts a project and have no idea when it's going to end? I understand that, there were problems as far as the gas lines. We got a notice on our door on June 9th regarding 30 days. It's now July, whatever. Nothing's been done. It is depressing, and I think it's very unfair to the citizens that live on that street. In addition to that, come next month will be our nice tax bill. Have we had an opportunity to walk out in our yard and enjoy things? I'd like to pressure wash my house, but why do that if more dust and dirt is coming in? I don't have money to pay and repay to have stuff done. I think that as citizens, we deserve some answers, and to not just be ignored and to expect the unexpected. We can't do that. If I decide to sell my house tomorrow, in regards to the blasting, yes, pictures were taken on the outside, but I'm old. I can't climb underneath my house to see if there's any structural damage from that.
I hate to interrupt you, but your 3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Check and purchase order countersigning authority resolution, item number 10. Mr. Balmer.
We'll start with these and get one cover. 3 financial items to finish up fiscal year 25-26. I won't read it verbatim, but basically the board passes a resolution authorizing certain signatures to occur on fuel signature checks and purchase orders within the organization. The first signature must be the finance director or the deputy finance director, and then the second signature can be any one of the people named in your resolution. The only thing we're changing in this resolution is we're changing the title of Revenue and Collections and Customer Service Supervisor to Accountant 1. That's in line with the budget position that you changed this year. So it's the same person, just a different title. The next step is following board approval. The new resolution will be implemented to designate who signs them in what order. In the absence of the finance director and our assistant finance director, staff recommendation is that the South Brownsville Water and Sewer Authority Board approve the revised resolution designating officials to check and purchase order countersigning authority as shown in Exhibit A. Financially, there's no impacts to the proposed revision. And in your agendas, you have a red line version of the change, and you have the final resolution. And the recommendation is that the South Brownsville Water and Sewer Authority Board approve the revised resolution to check the purchase order countersigning authority as shown in Exhibit B, which is the final version.
All right. Is there any discussion or questions for Mr. Balmer?
You just realigned to meet state law.
I'm sorry?
You just made appropriate changes to make sure you aligned with state law.
That's correct. And it's basically just title change. Based on the new position that the board added this year.
I would move that we approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the revised resolution for checks and purchase order countersigning. Everybody in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. That's one.
Okay, that one's easy. Next one's going to be easy too. So the second one deals with system development fees, or I say SDFs, system development fees. So basically, general statutes several years ago required all system development fees to be accounted for and designated by the board for certain capital projects. So that's what we're doing here tonight is the 25-26 SDFs that were collected. So in 2018, South Brownsville Authority Board adopted a resolution establishing the capital reserve fund to account for system development fees. Resolution specifies which capital projects fees will be used for. Since fiscal year 2018 and 2019, SGWASA has designated system development fees to support critical capital infrastructure projects, including $2.35 million for the completed water treatment plant upgrade, $114,973 for the replacement of aging wastewater plant chemical storage tank that was completed in 24-25, and it was part of a $902,000 total project. More recently, the SDFs totaling $267,920 have been designated during fiscal years 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25 for legal, engineering, and other project-related costs associated with the ongoing I-85 sanitary sewer improvement project. Recommendation, the SGWASA Executive Director and Finance Director recommend that the board make an amendment to the existing resolution adopted on August 11, 2018 to include fiscal year 25-26 system development fees collected in the amount of $242,964. It is recommended these funds be used toward the SGWASA funding costs of the I-85 sanitary sewer improvement project. Financial, the fiscal year 25-26 system development fees have already been collected and accounted for appropriately in SGWASA's accounting system. If approved, a copy of the amended resolution will be included in the supporting documentation for the annual audit. And the recommendation is that the SGWASA Board of Directors approve the amended Capital Reserve Fund resolution to designate the collection of $242,964 from system development fees during fiscal year 25-26 to be used toward the I-85 sanitary sewer improvement project. And you have a copy of the resolution in your agenda.
All right. Any questions or discussion? Move to approve. All right.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the Capital Reserve Fund for System Development Fee Amendment and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
All right, move right along. Let's see if we can go through this one this time. This is the year-end 25-26 year-end capital improvement fund designation. A little background on this one. I think it'll do us good to have a quick refresher if you'll indulge me for just a minute. So in 2008, the SGWASA board adopted a resolution basically creating a capital improvement fund, and it's been amended in 2015. A copy of the resolution is in the agenda packet. The resolution basically directs the finance director to maintain a separate banking account on account for certain inflows and expenditures annually, and that's what we're doing tonight. Just as a reminder, the capital improvement fund basically has just 4 basic inflows, deposits, things that are added to that account. Depreciation and CIP, which is funded by your rates as part of your rate model. Currently, $2.28 million annually is flowing into the CIP through rates. Now that back in 27, back on July 1st of 24, which was the last time the rates were changed, that represented 95% of depreciation. For the 26-27 budget, depreciation is up to $2.7 million. So right now the funding is more like 84%. But that depreciation annually goes in. Interest on CIP funds. So it is a separate bank account. Any interest earned on that money while it sits there for a year, so we do the next annual designation, stays in CIP funding. That's outlined in the resolution. System development fees, you just earmark for a project, you want system development fees spent for it, that flows into CIP funding. And for the past 5 years, we've had a 4th income in that account, and that is the AIA stormwater fees that the municipalities pay to SGWASA. I think this was the 5th and final year of those, but you'll see those accounted for in your accounting within the package. We'll get to in a minute. Just a note, grants, even though we put them in there, when you get to that, I'll put a little closer, but they really don't affect CIP because you're getting money, spending it right back out. And often you're spending it out and getting reimbursed for it. So it has a zero net effect. So you'll see I put a placeholder in there for grants, but I said no effect on CIP fund balance. What are the outflows? The outflows are pretty straightforward. They're just the capital projects that have been approved and awarded by the board. Basically, just a few notes on how it's accounted for. An annual account is done, as we're doing tonight. We basically let those funds sit in there for the full course of the year because they are a separate bank account. We don't pay projects out of that bank account because it becomes very convoluted trying to move money back and forth to pay specific payments for all the projects we've got going on. When a project is awarded and budgeted, the amount reduces available CIP fund balance at the end of that year, and you'll see that when we go through the listing. This moves the funds out of the balance so that at any given time we know how much is left that can be used. If you don't move those out, then they can be used again and they are earmarked for something else. So we move those out of designation even though they may not have been expended yet. So what happens to that money? It goes back into operating fund balance and we make payments basically monthly on whatever projects and invoices are coming in. So I say that to say this, when money is undesignated, that doesn't free up the money. It is simply moved from one bank account to another to pay the outgoing bills or bills that have already been paid previously. So that money is really not increasing the amount of available cash. And just to note, we will be having a finance committee meeting in September, and at that point I'll be bringing you an update of the available cash balance, which will reflect any changes from CIP designations. Okay, the background on this, we just talked about most of that. The analysis, the SGWASA board resolution dated May 12, 2015, which is Exhibit 1 in the package in accordance with the powers and duties set forth in North Carolina General Statute 159-25, delegates certain authority to the SGWASA finance director. The resolution authorizes and instructs the finance director to establish, maintain, and manage a designated account for capital improvement project funding, CIP fund. The recommendation, the SGWASA Executive Director and Finance Director recommend the board undesignate $4,559,822 of previously designated capital improvement project funds. This recommendation is the cumulative net effect of funds received, earned, and spent during fiscal year 25-26 and or permitted to be spent for various projects as reflected on the schedule provided in Exhibit 3. The schedule of necessary funds have already been transferred as needed between the project bank account and the operating accounts to retain the cumulative uncommitted designated funds in the appropriate improvement project account. One of the reasons that we did an early transfer in early June this year is because, of course, with the I-85 project running $3, $4, $5 million a month, we had to have cash to pay those checks out. So we knew we were going to undesignate, or assumed we were. So we went ahead and moved it out of that account. Should the board decide not to undesignate, we'll move it back. Financial. As reflected on the attached schedule, Exhibit 2, this action by the board will result in cumulative net designated capital improvement funds of $610,597 as of June 30th, 2026. That will be available for future capital improvement needs. This accounting includes non-grant loan and authority funds committed to date to the I-85 sewer project, which of course is a large chunk. The exhibits that are in your agenda, you've got the board resolution where we're designating. That's just a supporting document that tells you the resolution that was passed in 2015, what we look designated and undesignated, and the authority the finance director has. Then you have a designation history, everything since 2008, what's been designated and undesignated. And then you have an annual accounting, which shows you how we arrived at that designation or undesignation. As you'll see, we started the year with $5.2 million basically, and now at the end of the year, we're down to $610,000. But that is no surprise because we have very large projects going on, I-85 being the largest chunk of that. I will make one note on the schedule of spent. You'll see for I-85 collections, the SGWASA contribution required by the USDA, we're only able to fund half of that, 50%, out of designated fund balance. Right now, it appears the other 50% will need to come out of operating fund balance. But basically, going into the account, we had interest earnings of the year of just under $190,000. We had the stormwater contribution slightly more than $152,000, and system development fees, as we just discussed, just under $243,000. So we have $584,968 going into the fund. What did we spend out this year? Now, if there was a project, multi-year project that was earmarked or designated on prior fiscal year, prior to 25-26, it's already been taken out of this fund and accounted for. So this is in addition to anything that was already committed or spent in prior years. So we increased the I-85 collection system spending by 3 different items. One being the SGWASA contribution, which was a contingency built into the USDA budget that may not come to light. Construction finishes on schedule and on budget, then that money will flow back into CIP as unspent. The SGWASA contribution required by the USDA, we just talked about that. That's 1/2 of the $6.9 million that they're requiring us to put up. And then, of course, the board approved arbitrage services for the bond anticipation note. I think that's 2 to 3 months ago. For $3,300. We've got a PFAS pilot test that is grant funded, but we paid the application fee to DWI, DEQ, whoever they are these days, of $10,000. The clear well rehab at the water treatment plant was completed, and there was $20,000 unspent, so that goes back into this fund. The water filter media was completed, and that was under budget by $117,461, so that goes back into this fund. The CCTV services were expended this year for $170,000. The prior CCTV flowed over into this fiscal year and was completed. It was under budget by $14,400, so you see that stays in this account. And then you'll see the projected effects of the ban related. That's the bond anticipation note that we've got right now for the construction. Those are still projections. We know the interest earnings because they're applied to our account monthly. So we know those for the year was $586,250. The interest payment that's due November, this is for the whole life of the ban, not just for the upcoming year. It'll be about $2.9 million. Now, if we finish completion of the projects earlier than the original ban term, then that would get paid off early, and of course you pay less interest on it. So there could be some money flowing back into CIP if we were to complete the project early and close out the ban with USDA. And that's how we arrive at $610,597. Any questions on that? This is probably the more complicated item on the
Any questions? Lane, you got notoriety tonight. Pulling up those parchment paper.
They probably were parchment paper.
All right. So does anybody want to make a motion to undesignate $4,559,822 from designated capital improvement project funds as of June 30th, 26, and authorize the finance director to transfer funds as needed without further notification of the board? Move to approve. Second. We have a properly motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. All righty. Move on to comments from our executive director,
Thank you, board members.
who's also our secretary.
Thank you. Dual role this evening. I appreciate your time and your attention to the important items that we had on our agenda this evening. If I may, I would like to at least comment on our utility customer on 8th Street and her comments this evening. First, I would request, if you have time, would you please fill out a speaker's card that's out on the table so that we can follow up with you tomorrow? We appreciate a phone number, possibly an email address, and we'll contact you tomorrow and follow up with you. Secondly, we've looked at the visibility issues with pipes at the corners and manholes. We'll review that again just to make sure there is no conflict with a car that pulls up to the intersection and looks left or right. I know we have some infrastructure on those corners as well, so we'll follow up on that as well in that area. As I described at the last board meeting to the board, we've been challenged on this $80 million construction project, which is going extremely well, except for 8th Street. And the holdup has been a conflict with the existing 2-inch gas line that runs parallel through the street, and the close proximity to the blast that we have to do to put in the 20 to 25 foot deep sewer line through that project. So we've been in a negotiation. I don't want to say it's standstill because we are making progress, but it's been aggravatingly slow in terms of what we're trying to do on that street. And we've had to leave that project to work on other portions of the projects. And I'm sure, as our customer indicated tonight, they feel abandoned down there. Where did everybody go? They started here with great fanfare and blowing everything up, and then they're gone. So I just wanted to, let the board know that we're continuing to make progress. We hope to get this resolved very quickly, get back down on the street, get this cleaned up, get the pipe installed, pave the street, and work our way out of there as we work back towards 8th Street, I believe, in Butner. I mean, we have a long portion to do and still some detours to do in that area. So it's been frustrating for the residents, for motors traveling through that area, for our team members as well. I guess if there's any good news, it's the fact that we're still remaining on schedule and pretty much under budget on this project, even with the amount of work that we have going on at Central Avenue. I'll touch on that for a moment. Our excavation through Central Avenue, it's closed until about August 10th. It's gone extremely well. We may be a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of getting that roadway intersection open back up again. That's our goal, obviously, to get that done. We'll keep the public and the board apprised of that. We've also told the board last month that we're making great progress with getting ready for the drilling underneath I-85 that'll be coming up in the next 30 to 45 days. So we've had some meetings about that. And most recently, a contractor made it across East Lion Street from one side to the other, near East Middleton, and they will start paralleling East Lion Street, Station Road, up to Joe Pede and connecting the pipes basically between New Joe Pede and back to that area. So it's progressing well. Again, that doesn't mean anything when you have the frustration by a resident, a utility customer down on 8th Street. So we're working hard on that, and we will follow up with our customer tomorrow morning and have some of that discussion with her, and also see what we can do to clean up that street in the meantime, just to make sure that we don't have extra debris or problems down there in that area. And we will continue to communicate with the residents in that area. And I would ask that any of our customers have any questions about this project, they can go to our website, and there's a special project listing on there for the I-85. There's 4 of us listed on that as far as contacts, so please reach out to us and let us know what questions that you have or comments. Of course, we welcome you here at the board meeting, but we're available pretty much 7 days a week as necessary for anything that comes up.
Isn't the timeline for the project posted on the website also?
Yes, it
We're
is.
still the end of 28?
That's our schedule, and we hope to beat that by several months. That's our goal.
I need to ask our attorney, Jim, is there any legal action we could take to get this gas company move a little faster?
My experience is gas companies don't normally move very, very fast, and it's difficult to get them to move. We can certainly get more information about it and see what we can do. I know some people who work with the gas company, and maybe a phone call or two might help, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
Anybody else? No? Go ahead.
One other item, a new item earlier this week, as I reported to the board via memo, and we've also posted on our website, that we've basically enacted stage 1 voluntary reductions of our water shortage response plan. So this was basically starting on July 11th until further notice. Chris has it up on screen for us. So what this means basically with our voluntary reductions, that water users are encouraged to reduce their water use and improve water use efficiency. And at this time, no penalties apply for noncompliance. Water supply conditions indicate a potential for shortage. So this is stage 1 out of stage 5. We have measurements basically at the lake as far as the intake levels. We monitor those every day basically. And Chris and I go out once a week, usually on Wednesdays, to double check that and measure that as well. And last week we were just about at stage 1 level as far as the measurement, and we looked at it was probably responsible of us to go ahead and move forward with that stage 1. With the high temperatures, we end up with evaporation at the lake as well. So with our high temperatures coming this week, that's another issue. The rainfall that we got recently, though, did add some supply to the lake, which is good. So we are teetering kind of at this level of stage 1. And again, we thought it was most responsible just to enact that at this point and keep monitoring that throughout the summer. Of course, we'll keep the board and the public updated on that. So besides that, no operational conditions or problems that we're having during this time with our water supply. Thank you.
Okay. You have anything else you'd like to share with us? Did we get any land windfalls of money lately, or?
I appreciate you asking that, Commissioner. We are in the pipeline possibly to receive some more funding, some grant funding for most likely PFAS projects. So I don't have anything tangible right now. I've just had discussions with our finance director just to let him know that we have something out there. And as soon as we get something tangible and some information, of course, we'll push that out to the board and also to the public as well. All the money that we can get for this project is beneficial, and I'll also let the board know that most recently we completed a 60% design review with CDM Smith's team, 60%. So we're excited to see this design coming to almost completion. 90%, Chris, I think is scheduled, is it Thanksgiving-ish, December?
Yeah.
So CDM Smith has been right on target with this project. And lastly, I mentioned that we're getting ready to initiate PFAS Pilot Part 2 coming up, maybe as early as next week, getting some equipment on site to that facility. So all that information is in the board report that I send out to the board, and we also publicize that. I know our communications PIO will be pushing out that information this week as well. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any comments from our attorney tonight?
No comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, how about Mr. Tom Lane from Butner City Council?
Just glad to see projects continuing to move along. Any way we can improve the situation on 8th Street, I've been down there several times. I'd like for us to make special efforts to do anything we can to make it better for them, because it's depressing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my comments.
All right. Councilperson Daniels.
I'll have to echo what he just said. I live on 7th and C. So I see it every day. Told my husband I was getting claustrophobic. But I know it's going to move along, and I'm expecting it to, the timeline, it will be completed. But I know it's frustrating.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilkins.
As we discussed with the executive director, the assistant executive director last Thursday, I'm going to defer my comments to you.
All right. County Commissioner Jimmy Gooch.
Okay. Construction, when it runs on schedule, on time, can be very frustrating. And when you have hiccups or delays, it especially gets frustrating because you've got a delay that was unexpected, and you've got a company sitting here that doesn't seem to be listening to your needs. They don't seem to be very responsive, and that makes it even more frustrating. And I can understand how our citizens get frustrated with it. On G Street, I lived for about a year with a dirt road where they put sewer down the middle of the street, and due to the rock, they puckered up the road. About every 12 inches was a charge. And we went from a paved street to a dirt street. But when it was all said and done and everything completed, it was much better than it was before. And we just have to keep our eyes on the goal and look forward to that day when we complete this project. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Rutmus May.
Just a couple things. In regards to her yard, is there any way we can get the small rocks and things like that out of her yard so that they can actually cut their grass?
I will take a look at the entire street in the construction zone, in addition to her. Yeah, we'll do whatever we can to get that cleaned up.
Thank you. And I want to fall back on something Mr. Gleason said. SGWASA is making progress. The PFAS is getting there. And I just often hear the criticism about, I'm new on this board, been on this board, I think less than a year, be coming up in a year in September. And all I heard was about PFAS and other things. I understand people's concerns, not negating that. If it's your concern, it's a real concern. But what I didn't hear, and I constantly heard, was what SGWASA wasn't doing when they actually were doing something every single day to make it better and to get to the point we're at now. We're at 60% of design, 90% in November. And so, appreciate people coming to meetings. I don't appreciate the constant barrage of negativity about our communities and about how it beats down the goodness of our community for whatever personal agenda you may have. That doesn't benefit our community. So I'm sure I'll get beat up for that, but it just gets old. If you want our community to move forward, you want it to prosper, you want to make it a community people want to come and live with, then you need to talk about the good things as well as the bad things. It's okay to be critical. And we all take these positions knowing the criticism is going to come. It's not good to constantly berate your community that you live in. It's just not good. And, that's all I'll say on that. I'll get caught up with myself, but don't.
Well, Mr. Gleason, comments, I hadn't seen any article. I don't know where this article was, but I haven't seen it. But the facts that he presented are true. The numbers are way off. But I think we should possibly talk about that at another time when all our representatives can be here if the board wants to. STEM is not represented tonight, so we don't have a full board. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for their comments. And please know that your comments haven't fallen on deaf ears. And we value your business and we value your loyalty to us, and we hope you'll come back. Everybody? Second?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Executive session tonight.
No, we don't have
Closed session.
no closed
I
session.
have one.
No.
If you may.
All right, got a motion and a second. Meeting adjourned.